Hello, welcome to this ministry. This is prophetic conference. We're still studying the book of Revelation. We're at chapter 14. This was supposed to be for yesterday, but we're doing a double taping today for yesterday and for today. But we will have a few minutes in between each chapter because you just heard me cough. Okay, and I looked, and behold, a lamb stood on the Mount Sinai, Sinai, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their forehead. Chapter 14, verse 1. During the first 42 months of the tribulation, the saints from the church age and the resurrection day in Christ worship before the throne. For the final 42 months, a new multitude of worshippers had arrived. The 144,000 Jews who were sealed in Revelation chapter 7, verse 4 to 8. The Father's name written in their foreheads may refer to strict knowledge of God's sacred name, or they may be linked with the seal of God, the angel placed on their forehead. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with the harp. And they sang as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. They are there which follow the Lamb wherever so he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. And their mouths were found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. These who were redeemed from the earth sing a new song which is unknown. They are virgins, which should be taken literally. These are the Jewish first fruits, a reference to the first ripened harvest taken from the field. And I saw another angel falling in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of water. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed and saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Angelic activity becomes prominent when the saints, the church, and the 144,000 are no longer on earth. With the church, the two witnesses, and the 144,000 in heaven, there will be a few human voices on earth proclaiming the gospel. Here, an angel flies through the heaven preaching the gospel. The second angel is then seen announcing the fall of Babylon, while the third angel warns people not to take the mark of the beast. Obelisk people on earth can see these angels, and they may appear in some human form. Because we see that people are able to hear the warning and message. Angels were used to announce Christ's crucifixion, his birth, that was Luke chapter 1 verse 31 and Luke chapter 2 verse 9 to 11. His resurrection, see Mark chapter 16 verse 4 to 6. And the promise of his return, see Acts chapter 1 verse 10 and 11. In the same way, they will be acted on earth during tribulation. The saints shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they had no rest day nor night. The worship the beast in his image, and whosoever will receive the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that kept the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth, yea, which says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and the works do follow them. Okay, chapter 14, verse 10 to 12. This is a clear warning about the eternal destiny of those who receive the mark of the beast and worship his image. They will spend eternity separate from God in the lake of fire, along with the beast and the false prophet. See Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, 14, and 15. Those keeping the commandments of God may be members of the Jewish remnant who had accepted the faith of Jesus, or what is identified as the New Covenant. Okay, then to chapter 14, verse 13, I just got to reading. This indicates he will continue to be martyred during the last part of tribulations. Those willing to give their lives for their belief in Christ, who will be called the last and promised to enter eternal rest. Their works will follow them. These souls will be resurrected at the end of the tribulation. The Lord will judge them in Jerusalem at the beginning of Christ's 1,000-year millennium reign. See Matthew chapter 25, verse 32 to 46. And I knocked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrusting thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap. For the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Okay. The phrase Son of Man is used 88 times in the New Testament, but it's also used in the vision Daniel received in Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. When he saw the Messiah coming in the clouds, Christ used Son of Man to identify himself. For example, see Matthew chapter 8, verse 20, chapter 9, verse 6, chapter 10, verse 23. This was not Christ's emphasizing that he was simply a man, but from Daniel's perspective, it was a term used for the Messiah who would introduce his kingdom on earth. The golden crown is mentioned in the Old Testament. It was the martyr of the high priest, and something he would wear when he went into the field to gather the first fruit and bring it into the temple. A sickle was also used to cut the first ripened grain. Since the 144,000 are called the first fruits in chapter 14, verse 4. The imaginary here is of Christ performing a festival ritual by taking his precious sickle and gathering in the first fruits of the Jewish harvest from the earth and presenting them in the heavenly temple. Notice these 144,000 had no sin. Verse 5. This was because during the week of the first fruits, all leaven representing sin is removed from the homes of devout Jews, beginning with the feast of unleavened bread, where no leaven is used for 7 days. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud voice to him that had a sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even under the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. The verse here called hive of boar, or some kind of alligator. The question is, how could blood flow as high as a horse's bridle? Well, first, consider the area where the final prophetic words, the space of battle of Armageddon will occur toward the conclusion of the tribulation. See Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. For Jerusalem to Mego, the site of Armageddon, the landmass area between those two locations is spread out in numerous values and can easily be 180 miles, 1,600 furlongs. The blood to the horse's body could lead to the number of bodies that would be stacked as high as the bridle of a horse. This is possible meaning for this unusual verse. Okay, the final harvest cycle. In this section, we see the preparation of the final harvest of souls from the earth. These are the two sickles, the sickle of the Son of Man, the sickle of the angel. Verse 14 and 17. The Son of Man reaps the 144,000 men from the earth as his first fruits. We read the earth was reaped, including the past tense, reaping. Verse 16. The second angel controls the fire on the altar in the heavenly temple, coming out of the temple with a sickle representing the grape harvest. Verse 18. Here the Greek word used for ripe is zacharino, a word meaning extreme ripe to the point of being dried up. In the order of Israel's 7 feasts, the barley harvest is centered at Passover. The wheat harvest takes place at Pentecost, and the grape harvest is the final harvest cycle that occurs during the fall festival. The Feast of Tabernacle is the last of the 7 festivals. The grape occupies in the winepress of God, and this harvesting will initiate the most intense time of judgment as is related to Israel and Jerusalem. This time, we also imitate the season of the final tribulation martyrs. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes break, and I will be back for the next chapter, which is, I think, is which is chapter 15. We'll be back just a little bit for chapter 15. Bye bye.